We are here again.
We
Another
are back.
another week, another week. What's up, Magic Nate? What's happening? Happy
Oh,
Friday.
happy Friday, and hello, you saucy nuggets watching from wherever you are. I am the Magic Nate, and I am very excited for the weekend. Get to do some fun stuff, and I'm here with my co-host, Carl Choi, publisher and comic book extraordinaire. Carl, how's it going?
I'm good. I don't know if I'm comic book extraordinaire. I'm a big fan myself. I think being a big geek helps. Definitely comic books saved my life. But for all you guys watching, thanks for tuning in. This is our live taping of our weekly Inside the Panel. Really just reacting on the news. And typically, Magic Nate, he had joined 24/7 Comics, helping with a lot of our marketing strategy and socials. But there's a lot to learn about comics. And so, a great way to do that, we thought, would be just to have a live conversation every week about the latest news, what he comes across, my reaction to it. Sometimes it's funny; he comes across news that I wasn't even familiar with, and sometimes I have a lot to say. So we'll keep it tight this week. I have a hard out at 11, and as always, anyone who's viewing today, feel free to tune in. You have any questions, any news you want us to talk about? Feel free to put in the comments. Otherwise, Magic Nate, what's top of the hour? Like, what are we covering today?
Well, we're going to actually talk about one of the coolest things I've seen out there. We're going to talk about a scholarship. And,
Oh, I thought you said the coolest would have been 247comics.com, where you could actually
well, obviously,
buy the latest and the greatest. Let's
well,
talk about scholarship. Let's talk about scholarship. So, real quick plug: if you guys haven't seen yet, Evermind Zero Goes will all be available on the store. The cards that sell this week, we are in the process of restocking them. Bladesmith, we just funded, and so we'll leave that to as much of the advertising we'll do today, but definitely subscribe and comment below if you want to hear more news or give us topics to discuss next week. So here we
mhm.
go. Let's talk about
Well, I can also plug this awesome hat, this 24/7 Comics hat.
yeah.
I heard people are jelly of it. So if you want to get that, 247comics.com.
Yeah, in fact, to find it, I think a few people hit us up about looking for it. It's actually under all products. It's not under collectibles or anything else. But you could actually see the hat here. I'm overdue in ordering one myself because I gave mine to Magic Nate here. And yeah, check it out and represent. It's a great trucker hat, right? And
Yep.
it's very high quality. And as you can see here, beautiful. It's all embroidered. And so, perfect for the summer as we approach warmer weather.
On to our first piece of news. We're going to talk about a scholarship. I am not a college guy. I was not a fan of being in college. So when I hear scholarship, I usually kind of tighten up. But this is pretty cool. And I think it's something that more industries and more opportunities should come up out of this. It's the MCM Scholarship for Aspiring Creatives. It comes back again this year. And I guess last year they tried it for the first time. And this time they're going to do their best to pick a few new winners. So what happens is MCM. It's basically a Comic Con that's happening across the sea, over the Atlantic in London, and this scholarship is meant for any. It's kind of in the name, the aspiring creatives across different disciplines to kind of be able to showcase their work and be able to attend the con and be able to kind of interact with others just to kind of feed their creativity. Um, it's one of the coolest things I've seen out there. I know there's been like um, a scholarship. What was it? A creative scholarship in the United States for Black creatives in the immersive space. That's one of the scholarships. There's one for magicians. MCM is just this crazy thing with Excel and all those things. Have you heard of MCM, Carl?
I've not heard of MCM, but I've definitely heard of Reed Pop. And Reed Pop, just for some context, is pretty much one of the largest, if not the largest, comic convention companies in the world. And what they've done is they've gone and acquired many different conventions and then consolidated their resources. So they could optimize, how they operate, and obviously as a business has done extremely well. What it looks like is MCM is one of those conventions that they've acquired and own, and is London based.
Hmm. And it seems like MCM is going to have two locations this year, one in London proper and one in Birmingham. Um, what are your thoughts on having like a scholarship for young creatives?
I think it's cool. I mean, it looks like even just as I look at who was selected last year, it's not names I recognize in the comic book industry. And even looking and quickly reading their profiles, it also looks like that they don't particularly come from comics. They come from animation. They come from, so I could definitely imagine them being, some of the booths that you see at Artist Alley. And so my guess is the scholarship, from what I can read here, is based on giving them maybe like a free booth, or like a better experience when it comes to what it's like to monetize at the Artist Alley. So I think it's good. I think it's a lot of times, some of these talent working in the Artist Alley, make more money than comic book artists. And
Hmm.
so I do feel like this is a really good thing. uh, it's interesting though, because I think it's happening in London, where I feel like diversity is already quite embraced, right? It's like it's almost like a part of the norm.
Hmm.
But I'd love to see more of this happening in America. And so, I think it's a good thing. I think if they did this across the nation, I think it'd be pretty interesting to have. I think,
Yeah, there's a
yeah.
in America we only have a few or a handful of scholarships that are similar to that, like because this is really targeting not just like ethnic diversity across the board. It's also like underrepresented uh, individuals or people from working class, the people who can't normally afford to attend a large or be showcased in a large um, con, which I think is brilliant. Let's talk a little bit about the winners from last year. I'm going to butcher these names, so people watching, I'm so sorry, and you can correct me in the comments. Uh, Muyembe Mwanza, who is a writer who's passionate about storytelling and amplifying Black voices in the UK. Um, and she got it because she's working on two novels. Um, and she was able to meet some major authors. Faith Malloy, who is an aspiring video game artist, studying stuff in college for video games. Um, she got to go in as with concept art, which is pretty cool. And then Lay LaCourish, um, somebody who's aspiring to do work as a penciler, and got to go in and be a part to speak to some comic publish talent, comic publishing talent uh, at Reed Pop. So it's nice to see these kind of folks go in and be able to start connecting for their desired careers. I think it's pretty exciting. In America, we only have a handful of these things, and it's such a bummer because like uh, there's a immersion con that goes on, and there's a scholarship for that, but you only get like entry into the convention versus actual like networking opportunities. It'd be kind of cool to see uh, like San Diego Comic Con or New York Comic Con give a similar kind of opportunity to other artists.
So, Magic, I have a question for you. Why do you always pull articles from First Comics News? I've never heard of this before. We started this 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 podcast. I'm just kind of
I,
curious. How'd you find it?
uh, I found it coincidentally through Google, and then I had to go through Trustpilot and then ask a few other sources and compare stories and whatnot. Um, to other sites that gave some news directly in the comic book or art world,
Is
and
this just
found
what
that.
comes up on comic book news when you search on Google? Because like I'm used to like comicbook.com, Bleeding Cool News,
Mhm.
comic book resources. Like, see, these are all the ones that I'm used to. So I'm just kind of curious. Because then our second news is also from First Comic. So tell us more about this.
uh Titan Comics reaches lunar distribution. This is kind of crazy. With I'm re-pulling up the article right now. We're doing this live.
It is a live
So
taping, guys. So sometimes I
yeah,
throw left field balls to Magic Nate,
it's
and
all good.
yeah. So
So basically, Titan Comics announced that they have a non-exclusive agreement with Lunar Distribution with some of their merch and their publications uh, to do direct market, especially with everything going on with Diamond. And I know we've covered a lot of Diamond news, and there was a little bit more of like controversy out there because they're allegedly funneling some funds.
wait,
Uh,
Titan is or Diamond?
Diamond is allegedly funneling some funds, or they were caught funneling funds from
Really?
their bankruptcy to certain key players. Um, but we are, um,
Why are we talking about that? That's juicy. Funneling bankruptcy funds to key employees. Oh, that's rough.
yeah. Do you want to talk
Why are
about
we
that real
talking
quick?
about this? Yeah, I didn't see this. What the
Well,
heck?
because I feel like we talked a lot about Diamond, and I don't want to exhaust the people, but if they like
Yeah,
juice,
I think you gotta talk about what's interesting because I don't know. That's why I'm kind of asking why is this interesting to you versus the
it
any
kind of ties in. So Titan
yeah,
had an existing relationship with Diamond, like that was it for them. And Diamond was gonna take care of all sorts of things, and they cut Titan some awesome deals.
yeah.
But because of Diamond going bankrupt and now some crazy things going on, they've kind of moved over to Lunar Distribution to go direct to consumers, and that includes a lot of their titles and a lot of their merchandise. Uh, this is things like uh, the new Gun Honey spin-off series, Heat Seeker Exposed, Return to Skull Island, uh, Conan the Barbarian. Uh, so a lot of classic things that some people know, Blade Runner. These all come with Titan, and instead of trying to figure things out with Diamond or whoever's acquiring Diamond, which I think next week we'll be able to talk a little bit about acquisitions and who's winning the bid for
So I gotta
Diamond
ask, like,
distribution.
why is this interesting to you? Like, because I think one of the things that we talk about with like inside the panel is, you being a noob and like you're identifying stuff that's interesting. Like, why is this interesting to me? Because to me, it's not super interesting. Because Titan is a very new company that came and started licensing Conan, and that's kind of what they're known for. And
Mm-hmm.
so, why does this stand out to you?
Because for me, I like to do my a little bit of homework, and because they are kind of a newer company that acquired some classics and like to be credited with things like Conan,
Mhm.
um, seeing them jump from one ship to another uh, kind of tells me a little bit about the climate of how things are going with Diamond, or how people are transforming in this comic space. Much
Mhm.
like we are trying to set our own trend with 24/7 comics and the way we do things. Um, with the monopoly that is Diamond going belly up, it's kind of interesting to see how everybody else reacts, especially if somebody just had a deal with Diamond, and see where they're going next. And Lunar has been coming up in headlines more and more, as Lunar and Penguin have been coming up more and more in headlines as where people are going. So it's interesting. I just like keeping track of that. Um,
Interesting. Well, Titan's a UK company, which is interesting because I think Oh yeah, I'll tell you why this is relevant and why on the industry side it stands out is because Diamond Distribution UK is doing just fine. Like they're actually not bankrupt. They're killing it. They're still existing as a little
Hmm.
monopoly out there. So and Titan is a UK based company, and so man, you have a UK theme today, Nate. Yeah,
Evidently.
yeah, UK theme today. So yes, I think if their reasoning is around how they're managing the money, like then yes, that's a bit of a controversy as to why they're leaving. But I guess to me, Titan is just like any other company. But it looks like I just looked up Vivian and Nick. It looks like they're a couple and they own and operate, and they had acquired a chain of retailer called Forbidden Planet, which is a really big name. And
Hmm.
within that, Titan Books is part of it, and magazine merchandise. So it's been around for a long time. And so being in UK in a place where Diamond UK is actually doing okay and well, yeah, it's kind of a industry news, and it makes you have a big question mark. But at the same time, like you said, like I'm not surprised people are leaving Diamond at all because they have to because there's uncertainties during this kind of bankruptcy. Even if they're not funneling money to their key executive, which is a really bad thing, uh, people are still leaving in droves because chances are you're not going to get paid. Like you're going to put your books into the warehouse, they're going to ship it out, and they're not going to get paid. And so I'm not surprised that they're leaving. But yeah, it does kind of lead back to this as a big reason. Secure stock was great. Preliminary bid setting for auction for Lions games and Diamond you get value probably 39 million. The bidding
Hmm.
oh, okay, so it closed on March the 6th. File okay. So it did sell off Diamond UK and Lion. And the Lions, for example, is very successful. They do Magic the Gathering and like Pokemon TCGs, and because of that, that's these two companies are the only part of the value left. Diamond UK and Alliance. So yeah, I think it's pretty interesting that how much of that value they'll maintain is a big question mark. All right, let's go to the third part of the news. All right,
Well,
what's this? Oh, this was big. This was kind of passed around in my comic chats. So talk about
yes. So we have the mayor of Flavortown,
it.
basically joining the DC universe. This is so good. I love it. Guy Fieri, food. He won one of the earlier seasons of Food Network Star, and then went
Mhm.
on to host a slew um, of cooking shows or food shows on the Food Network, and our friend Jet Tila
I was gonna
considers
send him
him.
a text right now in our group chat with this. I don't know why you didn't send it. You should have sent it right away when this came out. My gosh, this is such great news. That's
It,
hilarious.
I mean, it's awesome because he considers Guy one of the gods of the food universe, and now we have a new unexpected hero joining Batman, Superman, and all of the other wonderful Justice Leaguers. Um, the mayor of Flavortown himself is joining DC Comics, uh, and it's already out there. So he's featured in Batman, Superman, World's Finest, issue number 37. And
That is
so
freaking hilarious.
if you're a
Yeah.
fan of Guy's Grocery Games or Diners, Dine-ins, and Drives, I guess you should go check out World's Finest number 37 because how crazy is that? And
Yeah. What was your reaction when you first saw it? Because you're a food fan. I
I
don't
am
really
a
know
food
this
fan.
guy that much. What's Guy's reputation? What's his story?
Number one is the frosted tips that never went out of style for him, and driving classic cars. Um, he's and just in general, he's known as a pretty decent guy,
Mm.
and he's got a handful of restaurants out there, and he's just trying to kind of change how things are done with integrity, which is cool. But he's known for just tons of rock star energy, quite literally. Um, what's interesting is in this article it says like this celebrity chef's comic book crossover is a display of corporate synergy. First looks at the Batman Superman issue showcase the titular heroes alongside Gary, invoking imagery from diners, drive-ins, and dives. So that's kind of crazy. And what's even crazier is like when we were talking to Jet Tila, we were especially with the creator team on our final stream for Bladesmith, which small plug, late pledges are still open until April 1st.
Oh yeah, we did open late pledge, guys. If you guys miss Bladesmith, there's like a late pledge. I don't know how you do it, but there's a late pledge. Anyways, back to here.
His show has been like a staple for years on the Food Network. Everybody knows, most people know diners, drive-ins, and dives. And because
Real quick, Nate, just so I want to just be conscious because we're doing live taping and give some attention to our chat. So give me 1 second. Stan, any idea on why DC's IP is fragmented instead of under one umbrella? The ROC's Black Adam was a fail. All right, Stan, give me some understanding of what you mean. IP is fragmented, not DC is under one umbrella. Are you talking about the way they tell their stories, how they don't do the MCU kind of thing? Curious what you mean by that exactly. Your second question was when it comes to Diamond having a liquidation sale for interested fans, really interesting. I'll bring up another news after this, after Magic Nate finished talking about Mr. Flavortown, and then we'll circle back. All right, Nate, continue.
I was just going to say that Food Network and DC are both under the purview of Warner Brothers Studios.
Oh, no wonder. That makes sense. Yeah.
So it allows them to have this kind of crossover pretty easily. And it's kind of a weird crossover. And it's kind of nuts because you and I were, when we had breakfast with Jet, and then when we were on the stream with the creator team, we were talking about how, like, in the future of Bladesmith, they were thinking of like how to incorporate Jet Tila as a character in issues somewhere in the issues of 4 through 6, and give him that like let him be the comic book superhero that he is. And looks like somebody did it with Guy Fieri, so I think we have an opportunity right there.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I hope we didn't scare him away because the guys just all kind of like were so surprised. They were like, "Oh my god!" Like Lindy's like, "We gotta work together." And so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, no, definitely, I think Jet has the right personality, the right vibes. I think we could do it better. Not trying to be whatever, but this feels gimmicky to me. It's just like, okay, his face pops up, but how really involved is he in this, right? And so for me, when it comes to true collaborations, I feel like it's really about including the character into the part of the story, which I feel like Guy would be the right guy. I mean, Jet would be the right guy. But here, literally, it's like to me, it's like a commercial meme poster, right? So I think it is what it is. Cosmic Seeds have a little special request, and Magic Nate's the right guy to ask, but you guys can feel free to work it out.
Engraved with what?
Yeah, and then Stan says DC Comics on Candy, and their collectibles are on Vivi. There's also a rumor the ROC took over the creative control over Black Adam.
The Rock.
Got it. The Rock. Okay. I don't know if the Rock took over Black Adam. I think he tried, but I think because it didn't do very well, I think he's relinquished that. And when it comes to licensing, it's pretty complex, Dan. But there's different departments. So like there's like kind of consumer goods, there's soft goods, there's hard goods, there's the comics. So everyone, unfortunately, as much as you would imagine that they should actually talk, they don't. Like they're in the same building, and often these days maybe not. They just don't talk. So often that's why you kind of see, like, I guess a really good example was Marvel Rivals. I don't know if you guys follow the game, but the biggest freaking hit game in the world that came out like last fall, right? They literally just announced that Marvel Rival Comics coming this May. So it's like, dude, what took so long? Why wouldn't you have just dumped the shelves with Marvel Rivals comics at the same time when the game came out, right? So as much as you would imagine, like these corporations being well-oiled machines, they're not, man. They're just a bunch of cranks here, a bunch of cranks here, a bunch of cranks
Hmm.
there, and then it's this kind of aura of a well-oiled machine that gets them all the extra money from the stock market. So that's unfortunately just how it is. So it's kind of a crazy thing. All right, Cosmic Seed. He said, "My lady's name." And I don't know, man. That's might be a special thing you have to work out with Magic Nate, but I'll let you guys figure it out. Probably not a fun idea. Okay, and then, yep, we all like rivals. So with that said, I think Stan brought up a really good news topic that I thought was interesting. So this week I was on Instagram and I was served an ad. So I'm gonna take us off this thing first while I look for it.
Okay.
Matthew, Nate, feel free to talk about what you want to talk about while I search for this. But I'm gonna
Oh,
pull it up
yes.
so we can talk about it.
Yes, I have a great news headline while we're waiting on that. And Cosmic Seeds, uh, no guarantees, but you can email us at the community at 247comics.com. Uh, we can talk. I can't guarantee it though, but we can talk. In the meantime, a news headline for everybody watching. Um, the great Jamboni, eccentric human cannonball, known for taking his lucky donkey to all his performances, escaped near tragedy today when the donkey climbed into the cannon's muzzle just as Jamboni was taking off. It took the surgeons 3 hours to remove Jamboni's head from his ass.
Wow, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. I like that. I like that one. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about now. Okay, so we got that piece of news. With that said, let me talk about this big piece of news. And this is probably the last of the news we'll cover this week because I got to run in 20 minutes. But Stan brought up a really cool thing where Diamond, and I'll kind of post this. In this case, would Diamond have a liquidation sale for interested fans? So I thought it was interesting because going direct to fans, I don't know why this hasn't been done more often, but there is a company that has done it on multiple occasions, and it's Skybound Entertainment. They basically, I got served this ad of them raising money, on Instagram, which I was like, wow, like this is hilarious. This is like very very different, right? And why it's different is because they're literally just like going public in a way, and they're basically taking a lot of what they're doing with um in their properties, and they're building this whole like idea that like if you invest now you could be part of you could be part of like the company. And so this is something that they did a while back, so they're doing it again. And this is what they did in Republic. So they raised $17 million, almost $18 million last time,
Holy
and
crap.
now they're out to raise another like 30 to $40 million, which is pretty insane, right? And so on top of that, I also saw Eli Roth do the same thing. He's going out to the market, building a new independent horror movie studio called called the Horror Section. And so he's done stuff like Hostile. He did a lot of big feature films, and he's basically turning this into a security valuation of $55 million, raising 5 million. So he basically gives up less than 10%, around 9%, to raise his money. And so pretty interesting to see kind of what's happening here. Like, allocation 75 million. So, Skybound is currently valued at 500 million. And then now they're serving ads on Instagram as part of this fundraise, which to me it's like, dang, this is next level. So these guys, oh, actually, it's weird. The ad is kind of 1 billion dollar franchise. So basically, now their valuation is double from the 500 million since they raised last time, and they're trying to raise a billion, their $1 billion valuation. And I can't pull up the ad right now. I don't know why it's not showing up, but they're saying they made 47 million from the Prime Videos show, and then there's more numbers that they made around $32 million in comic sales last year, and then they're evaluating the market that we're in, Nate, you and I are in at a $2.8 trillion entertainment market.
Dang. Yeah, we need to
Need a
see
piece
what
of
we
that,
can
right?
do about that. Yeah, we want a piece of that. So hey,
Morellas.
Arelis. Uh, so they're publicly. It, I don't know if publicly
Not
trading is the
public.
right.
No, they're private, and that's why it's so interesting. Where, you know, we're all familiar with like when our current president came to term, he launched a coin, and that was almost like a investment into that coin, and it went up, it went down, but at the end of the day, it raised a lot of money. And in a very similar way, because you know when you lead by example, others are going to follow. And so, in a very similar way, I don't know what they're actually promising, but oh, here it is. Here's a link. But they are allowing fans to invest in their company. So here's a
Interesting.
PDF. Let's look into it. Would you invest? Oh, here's their securities. So there's the securities, and so they're based in Pico, but they're set up as a Delaware company. Mm, so security is 92 units, $100 per unit. Yeah, it's really kind of fleshed out. Like they kind of figured out what this looks like. But assets wise, it seems kind of low. I wonder why it's that low. And net income they made. Oh, it's in the millions or what? In the millions, reflect holdings. Oh, they have 100 millions in holdings. 165 full time employees and 2 part time employees. Damn,
Holy
it's doing
cow.
a lot. And then maximum offering amount, so they're trying to raise around 4 million. Yeah, this is really interesting. I mean, they're literally putting out there. They're a private company, but they basically operating like a public company off market, and they're basically
Interesting.
parlaying like fandom to get behind what they're doing. So I don't know. Skybound's always been really special because they're one company that I felt did a really good job of protecting Robert Kirkman's vision creatively and allowing him to be in all the writing rooms. And I think that's really powerful. Like that's kind of a vision for us where we want. And here are some of their biggest properties like Walking Dead, Invincible, Impact Winter, and then John Universe. Which this one's been huge for them. This is basically the reason why they've sold $30 million of comics. Um, yeah, I mean it just go on and on. So pretty impressive, Skybound in general. Being able to continuously raise money and that's not easy. It takes a lot of time and effort, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, so that's kind of something that I've been kind of keeping an eye on,
That's
and it's
so
pretty.
interesting. So
Yeah,
they are a private
private.
company who's
Yeah,
just acting as if they're public and basically giving their fans a piece. I don't know how to say it, like piece of the action, but it's like crowdfunding at the same time.
they're basically crowdfunding. Yeah, invest in Skybound. I wonder if it's like showing. It's weird. It's like invest 8 million raise. I mean, it's totally different than here it is. Invest now. Yeah, so it's basically on their own website this time. It's not on
Uh-oh.
Republic, and they basically built their own website. Um, $1.50, $150, $100 per unit. Invested in 30 days, 15% bonus shares. It's hilarious. Crowdfunding, but investing in their company. Isn't that crazy?
Oh,
So they
that's
raised
awesome.
242K so far. The 4.3 million. Yeah, it's definitely not getting as much momentum as this campaign. This campaign went crazy because I think Republic is it's kind of like a Kickstarter but for companies, and
Hmm.
I think it gave them a lot of credibility. But I think they're trying to raise on their own. So I think right now at raising about $250,000 doesn't show that it's getting as much momentum. So pretty crazy, right? Pretty interesting.
That's absolutely insane and kind
Yeah.
of cool to see. It's kind of cool to see this side of what could be happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, look at all their partners. They lots of name dropping here with the brands. But with that said, I mean that's our week in comics. How do you feel, man? Learn a thing or two today?
Oh, I learned quite a bit actually, and uh, it's kind of fun to be able to look through these titles and be able to talk a little bit about it, especially from fresh eyes or newbie eyes. Um, Man, that's crazy. Now I'm just thinking about Skybound and what they're doing, and
A lot. They're doing a lot. So
yeah,
that's
how
pretty
that could
impressive.
change the scape of it all.
Yeah.
But thank you guys so much for watching. Stan, I see your comment. Amazing, Alpha. Thanks. Uh, Thank you guys so much for watching and for tuning into this live taping of Inside the Panel. We're going to have this kind of clean cut and out every Monday. Well, we try to get it out every Monday for everybody else to watch. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all those things to be able to help your favorite 24/7 publishing house grow more and more so we can take over the world.
Yeah, who knows? We might have our own campaign on Republic, raising money, raising
Yeah.
$20 million to take this thing to the next level. But stand by, coming soon.
Yes.
All right,
Coming
guys.
soon.
Have a good weekend.
Take care, y'all.
Bye.